Well, hello, sunshines. Welcome back to the channel and thank you for being here. And as always, don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. And please do leave me a comment as I will comment back. Well, I live in Massachusetts, Zone 6B. My name is Lakeisha for those that are new here because I do see we have a lot of new subscribers. Thank you for joining us. And so today, we are expecting another snowstorm. That is just what it is when you live in Massachusetts. And February is the time that we get most of our snow. And so that's what it looks like. So today is just going to be an easy peasy day for me. I've been doing some research and I've been looking at some perennials that I want to intentionally put in my garden. Now, I have done a few videos where I have done plant hauls. I've got a lot of plants that I love, beautiful things. I've done a lot of clearance plant shopping. That is how I was able to fill most of my garden, by getting plants that were on clearance, by dividing plants. That is how, by going digging in other people's gardens, I've been able to get plants. You know what? When I started my garden space, I started it with a friend giving me some hostas, pieces of hostas, and also pieces of Black Eye Susans, and it was a Shasta daisy, and that's where my garden began. And so I'm okay with all of those methods: clearance shopping, doing your plant hauls, and digging in other people's garden and allowing people to give you perennials. But this year, I want to do some intentional shopping. There are some particular plants that I want for particular spaces. One of those spaces being an area that I showed you all that I have a goal for, and that is in where the part sun, part shade garden is, where I'm going to be expanding it. Now, there is a possibility that we will be moving that shed. And if we move that shed, I still think it's going to be a part sun, part shade garden. And so I'm looking at plants that do well with a lot of shade and then some sun. So you can call it part shade or part sun, whatever. It doesn't get a lot of sun over there, but it does get sun. So I've been looking at some plants that I want to purchase. Now, believe me, I'm still going to do some unintentional shopping. I'm still going to do some plant hauls, and I'm still going to look on that clearance rack. And maybe some of my plants will be there. But there are a few that I'm not going to depend on the clearance rack for, because I want these plants in my garden space. So I wrote a list and I'm going to look up a few with you. So let's get to it. So one of the things on my list that I have is what is called a longwort plant. That plant is beautiful. It doesn't have flowers per se for the whole entire season, but the foliage is beautiful. It has the speckle look, and I'm getting it for that purpose. I'm focused on the foliage. And so let's just take a quick look up of some of the deets on this plant. And so from what I remember and what I know it has like these, I believe the flowers are purple. Yes. So it has these beautiful purple flowers that will come. They're little dainty flowers. And you'll see in the pictures that I place above. And so they're these little dainty purple flowers and pink, and it's super pretty. But like I said, when you look at that speckled foliage, that is what I'm growing this plant for. I'm going to appreciate those little flowers, but for the most part, what will be there is the foliage. And so that is one plant that I am looking to intentionally put in that space. And so when we look up the longwort plant, it gets its name from the fact that herbalists from long ago thought the leaves of the plant look like a lung and therefore would treat lung disorders. The less than attractive name has stuck, but they also are referred to as Bethlehem sage or Jerusalem cowslip, spotted dog, and soldier and sailors. Okay, so it has various names, but I know it as, and I would say it lungwort. Was I saying it right? Lungwort. Okay, that flower is one that I want in my garden space. And I know it can get pretty big. I know it's also dividable. So that's another thing, good thing about perennials, when you can divide them and spread them throughout your garden. I do have one out there, but it didn't get big. I believe that was one that I dug from someone else's garden space. And so I don't want to divide it this year. I don't believe. I can always change my mind. And so let's go to the next plant. This is my plant wish list. All of these plants are my wish list. And so another plant is the bleeding heart. Now I do have bleeding heart in my garden. If I'm not mistaken, I have 3 of them. 2 in the part shade, part sun garden, and then 1 in the full sun garden because it's a different type of bleeding heart. And so I want more bleeding hearts. I really like the bleeding heart plants. The little flowers look like hearts. And so I think that they're super pretty, and there is a variety that I want. I don't know the name of the variety, and I was looking for it, but one of the bleeding heart plants has like this bright, bright color, this really bright greenish color. How do you say it? Okay, just forget it. What this very pretty color that I want, and so I want to see if I can aim to get that this particular bleeding heart. And so I'm going to look for it. I don't know if I'll find a lot of these in the big box stores, but at this particular garden center that I've been visiting, I actually did a plant haul from there one time and showed you all the plants I got from there. They have the plants, because one of the plants that I was looking for was not elephant ears. It was another plant that I was looking for, and I finally got my hands on it because I went to that garden center. So I'm suspecting that I'm going to have to go to that garden center and get that plant. Bleeding heart gets its name from its puffy, heart-shaped pink blooms that bloom in the spring beneath each heart-shaped sticks out a white petal with a red streak, from which the idea that the heart is bleeding. So that's where bleeding heart's name comes from. But I really want to put some more of those. I think that would be pretty as well. Once again, I just put those in my garden last season, so I'm not looking to divide those, because I believe you can also divide those. I believe they make what I call babies, and you can take the babies and move them about. But I'm not looking to do that this year. So let's move on to the other plant. The other plant that I want is the Brunnera. That particular plant, I want to make sure there's a well-known name called Alexander's Great. And I want to make sure that I get that plant in my garden as well. I probably won't look up every plant because I don't want the video to be too long. But let's look this one up. So this one also has flowers, but once again, the foliage is what I'm looking for as well. But the flowers are these pretty blue flowers. And to me, they're blue. But once again, as I told you in Garden World, a lot of things that we will call blue would be purple, but these are actually, the picture I'm looking at, are true blue. And so this is another plant that I can put in that part shade, part sun garden. And so I'm looking forward to this plant as well. Another plant that I would love to have more ferns. I have ferns already in that garden space, but I want to put some more in the area that I'm going to expand. I have the Japanese ferns, and I really like those. If you've been following my channel, you know that I like plants with the dark foliage. You know, I really like those plants. And so I would like to have the Japanese ferns because they have the dark foliage on them and they're just so pretty. And so I'm going to be looking to add some of those to the space. The other thing I want to add to the space, which I already have in the garden, is lamium. Lamium, I will not have to purchase because I have a section in the garden where I keep a patch of lamium that I go and dig from and just divide and put it where I want it in the garden. So I want to put lamium over there as well. The other plant that I want to put over there is lemon coral sedum. I have lemon coral sedum already on that side, and I think lemon coral sedum is great for border planting. And so I have that cut in a border in the front already of that space, and I just want to kind of follow that through in this new space, in this expanded space. I want to follow that through, and so I want to continue that lemon coral sedum all the way down. And so I'm going to make sure that I get some more lemon coral sedum. I love that pretty color. That lemon coral sedum is the color I was talking about where I want the bleeding hearts. That right there, that chartreuse color, I believe that's how you say it, that chartreuse color, that's the color that I want the bleeding hearts in. I have one in my garden space right now, but I hope I can find more to add to where I'm expanding. The other plant that I want is astilbe. I have some astilbe. I have currently, I believe, just white and pink, but I want purple as well. Oh my gosh, you all know that purple is my favorite color. And so I would like to put some of that purple astilbe inside the garden. Right now, I know I have pink and I believe I have white out there. They were new additions to the space this year, but I definitely want to be able to add some astilbe over there. That's another plant. Hostas. Y'all know I have a ton of hostas. And so I want to add more hostas to the space as well. But the particular hostas that I want to add, I want the blue, like that blue hosta is what I'm looking for. I believe you can get those in bulb form. And so I'm going to be searching my garden centers for that. My garden centers don't have a lot of the things out because when I'm looking at other pages, I have to remember, and you have to remember what your zone is as well. Because I'm in zone 6B in Massachusetts, we are not there yet. We don't have the plants on the shelves. We don't have the bulbs out yet. We don't have any of those things out just yet. All we have is seeds. That's all we have out right now, but we don't have any bulbs to purchase. And so I'm going to be looking into seeing if I find them in the bulb form or if I can just find them. But I want to get my hands on some of the blue hostas and some of those bright yellow ones too that I can add to that space to brighten up that space. So that is what I'm going to be looking for in the hosta area. Now, I thought I was done purchasing this plant because I have a ton of them, hydrangeas. But to add to that space and make it like, you know, as I expand it, because I have some of these plants in that area already, like hydrangeas and hostas and astilbe are in the particular space. I'm going to just be expanding it. I want to go ahead and add some of those hydrangeas. Now, for me, when it comes to hydrangeas, I like the pinks and the purples. As I just said, purple is my favorite color. So I'm not looking for that blue, but I'm looking for the pinks and the purples, especially the purples. Give me the purples. So far, the hydrangeas that I've put in that area have stayed the purples, and I'm glad about it. And so that is the hydrangeas that I will be looking for to put over there. I don't know how many yet, but we'll see. Mr. Brown is over here just making my camera wobble. I don't know if you all saw that. He's just over here. And so I want that for those areas. And I maybe dabble in these in other areas too, but those are what I want in those spaces. And so, oh my gosh, number 10. Actually, this is not the final one, but number 10, heucheras. I definitely want some more heucheras. I have some heucheras that I have in hanging baskets that I'm going to put in that area. And then I also have some heucheras as well in an area that I put them in last year, but I already know I want to move them, and I can move them and add them to that area. But I want a grouping of them, and I want different colors. Once again, that color that I'm talking about that I want, that bright lemony color, they have those in heucheras as well. And I have a couple, and they're little babies because I got them out of someone's garden by dividing them. But I want a couple more to add to this area. That I just love that color. That's my color. I think every year, you know, when you're in the garden, you find your color. Like last year, I was in love with my purple dahlia and my purple delphinium. Like, oh my gosh, when I purchased that delphinium, oh, I was over the moon, you know, about that. But this color right here is the color that's sticking out for me that I want to be able to just put all over the garden. And so all of those is, like I said, they will probably go in other places in the garden, but that's the main area where I want these to be planted up. And so the final plant that I am looking at, this is not for this space, but it's actually for the arch that is around my chicken coop. And so that arch, or that, you know, that, it's not an arch shape, but it's, you know, it's a trellis. That trellis I actually got from someone that was moving. Oh, it was, I think I talked about before, but it was so heavy. And my sons did their thing. My sons went and we got that and we loaded up on the truck, and we had to, I remember them putting it on the, I think it was a lawnmower or something, and tying it to try to pull it down there to the area where I wanted it. And then it came in its natural wood color, but you know, over the years, because I think it was on the property for 17 or 20 years, over the years, you know, of course the wood had just, you know, got darker. And so what I did was painted it black, and I didn't film any of that. And I wish I did. I didn't even take a before and after. I wish I did. But I would love a climbing rose. I was going back and forth to whether or not I wanted a climbing rose. I actually last year purchased some, what did I purchase? Clematis. 2 clematis plants I had put to try to get to climb up there. The clematis plants just, I don't know, they're not working out for me. I just always think they're dead or something's going on. I don't know. They just never grew. And so I stuck them in another area. So I still have hope for them. But as of right now, the clematis didn't do anything for me last year. So towards the end of the year, I picked up 2 roses that were on clearance, and I stuck 1 rose on both sides of the trellis. And I know that they will get like tall and I can attach them to the trellis, but I think I'm going to go for it. The reason I'm intimidated by the climbing rose is because the pruning that you have to do. But I think with a lot of, you know, watching other people do it and doing some research and paying attention, I think I can do it. I hope you all are rooting for me. I think I can do it. So I'm going to take the 2 roses that I did put on both sides, and I'm going to move them somewhere else in the garden. And I'm going to purchase a climbing rose. I think it would be absolutely beautiful to have a rose climbing over that trellis. And so those are my plants. So that's 11 plants that I have here for my plant wish list for the growing season of 2025. And so are you having, you know, are you thinking about your plants and the perennials that you want? Do you have a wish list? I hope this makes you think about a wish list. You know, this is my wish list. This is where my little journal that I'm keeping some details in that I want to do in the garden space. Because once garden season starts rolling in and kicking in, And it's just going to be so busy that I'm going to just forget, and I'm just going to go to the store and start picking up stuff. And I want to remember the things that I think that would make that space in my garden itself. I want to continue about the things that would just make it just more magical, more beautiful. And so that's why I'm growing all the flowers and the annuals and the things that I'm handpicking, because I'm trying to be intentional about what I place in the garden. I love everything that's already out there. I have no regrets about the things that I've already placed in the garden space. But this year I'm trying to be more intentional about the plants that I place in there. And this right here, keeping a record, is definitely going to help me. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope this helped you. I hope you go make you a garden list and think about the things that you want in your garden. Until next time, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to leave me a comment. Thank you so much. Blessings. Bye.